Right, how you all doing? I'm going to say something a bit out there right now. Many of you are going to cringe. Apologise if you need to. Hey, what? Context, mate. Please, give me some context. Okay, right, okay. This is going to blow your mind. If, as a parent, you cock up, even if it hurts your pride, apologise to your child. Apologise to a child? Why would I do that? They're a child. Because you're a dick if you don't. Oh man. I've had, generally, an alright day. Take yesterday and copy and paste it into today. Played some EDF, was to hang out with the family for a bit, and we were, at one point, going to play some Sea of Thieves. I actually bought myself a new control pad that I could use on the Switch and on my PC, as well as an adapter for it. It's an 8-bit DO SN30 Pro 2, I think that's the model. It's a nice control pad. It's not hyper expensive. I don't have Switch Joy-Cons or anything, my hands are too big, so I wasn't going to spend money for a Switch Pro pad, so I like 8-bit DO. Anyway, got this pad so I could play games with them. So I've got this other problem going on at the moment where I'm starting to lose the feeling in my hands when using mouse and keyboard. It happens over time using a pad too, but I thought, you know, I'll treat myself, I'll get a pad, I'll play. I've got some projects lined up that I can use the pad for too. But back to the children thing. We were going to play Sea of Thieves together. And I have said before how, realistically, I don't actually like playing games with the boys. Games are a fun thing, but when I play games with my sons, I have to do the dad thing. I always have to step in and defuse something, which I end up getting put in the uncomfortable position of being a disciplinarian that's trying to have fun at the same time. I can't have fun with you and tell you to stop being a dick at the same time. You know, I can't scold you and have a good time at the same time. I'm not wired like that. That's kind of a dominatrix thing. That's not my groove, and that sounds really creepy to say when I'm talking about my two kids. But like, you get my groove. Like, that's a really weird mindset to be in, that you enjoy shouting at someone. That's not my thing, or enjoying belittling someone. I don't like that mindset. If I'm having fun, if I'm having a laugh, I want to be having a laugh. I don't want to have to go, guys, stop being twats. I appreciate it if you rein yourselves in, kind of thing. Read the room, but they're young, they can't do that. So generally, things like that can get a bit tetchy. And well, playing Sea of Thieves just got later and later and later. We were going to play it, you know, before dinner, then we were going to play it after dinner, and just, it got late. And when we finally got into game, it didn't take much more than 10 minutes for the boys to start barking at each other. And when you ask someone politely to do or not do something, you know, realistically you'd expect them to maybe listen to what's been said, and they didn't. And I mean, it turned into a bit of a cluster. I had to do the angry voice. I hate doing the angry voice because that makes it seem like I'm shouting or like I'm actually genuinely angry. And then I usually have to kind of turn it up to like 22 because 11's not good enough. And sometimes swearing is involved because the kids just see me as a plaything. You know, if I'm not being like hardcore stone-faced killer, they just think I'm joking. But to actually have to raise my voice to get them to do what I ask was brutal. And I mean, the mum had to do basically the same, which resulted in one of the boys rage quitting. Like, he didn't rage quit, but like, he was like, yeah, well, people just are being like, then just shouting and it's not fun anymore. So I just quit, which is fair. But then when he quit, his mum quit. And then because Nanny was here too, Nanny stepped in and said, right, now it's time then you go to bed, because it was getting really late. But then he was like, well, I'm not going to get any points for doing any of the quests or anything. So, well, then you shouldn't have quit. And then the eldest started kind of firing back too, and was like, look, you just come on out. We're done. It's over. If you wanted to play, you shouldn't have been aggro with each other. You shouldn't have been aggro with us. You should have, you know, we politely asked you to be cool, and you weren't, which caused everything to kind of explode nuclear styley. And it was really kind of uncool. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I think I went a bit, I didn't go too far, maybe a little bit too much, but like, the little one started to cry. He did cry because all he wanted to do was come back into the game and play. I mean, admittedly, it was like a bit of the old 20-second fake cry until he's told, look, cut it out. That's not going to work. I was happy for him to come back in and help me finish the quest, which would have taken seconds because I'd turned the ship back round. We'd literally got in, got a quest, figured out where the island was. So we have to do in Sea of Thieves. You get given a picture of a map, a picture of an island, or a map of an island. You then have to go to your main ship map, find the island, go, dig treasure, put it on your ship, take it back. I was happy with it because I'd almost got us back. I'd have been happy for him to just help me unload the ship so we could have all shared the points and been done. But no, just things kind of got a bit heated, and as I say, Nanny wanted him to go to bed, and the wife had already bailed, and I was just like, oh god, here we go. And I didn't want to make it seem like we were on divide, like we were divided here. One person had already told him, look, you're done, get off, go to bed. And I didn't want to really go, come on, let's just get it finished and be done. But I can't handle them crying either, and just... and then when the eldest started back talking, it's like, look, I've had enough, because my eldest has been quite loud today. Not aggro today, but he's been getting quite stressful today. And it's been... when he gets stressed, he gets louder, and... it was just like, he's just playing video games, but we're sat there in the same room as him. It's like, dude, seriously, you know, turn it down a little bit, you know, your voice, just, you don't have to scream at someone that can't hear you. And I was like, we were trying to stay level-headed and calm, and I was like, he was calm. I make it seem like he was like throwing shit and stuff, but he wasn't. He was just like getting pretty aggro, like, oh, he didn't swear, but just imagine, like, I don't know, someone beats you in a game, oh, for fuck's sake, that kind of groove. But, you know, trying to get decent conversation out of my two boys is like getting blood from a stone, but just it wasn't a solid groove because they've gotten upset. In the end, we apologised. We said, look, you know, it didn't have to go that way, because my youngest really did get quite upset. And it's like, look, it didn't have to go that way, but you didn't have to. You two didn't have to be dicks about it. You didn't have to pressure us into actually having to step in between you two to just get done and have fun, you know. If you're wrong, if you're in the wrong, you really should apologise. You just should. None of this pride bollocks. That doesn't help anyone. But, you know, in this case, we just had to explain the attitude. You know, where it came from. It's like, look, guys, and I'll be honest with you, it was a really stupid thing that started it. My eldest started aggroing my youngest right off the bat. My youngest was getting aggro because he couldn't do anything on the ship, whereas the last time he played, he was pretty much doing the whole thing himself, because the wife and I were on islands. The two brothers were arguing. So my youngest did the whole ship thing. This time, initially, we were working as a unit, so the wife and I were pretty much, you know, rocking out on the ship. My eldest was saying things purposely just to wind up my youngest. He was just talking back. He was being cocky. You know, the wife clipped a cliff. You know, he purposely says that she's shite at driving, not literally, but like says that she's bad at driving a boat, knowing full well you don't drive a boat, which would then wind up my youngest son, because it's like, we're not driving boats. And then my wife then corrects him, it's like, we're not driving it. And he's like, it's the same thing. It's like, it isn't, but, you know, they're doing it on purpose. And then when we get to the island, my youngest has realised that you can rebury treasure. But no one actually knows at this point, 'cause it's been a long time since we played, what that actually does. So to us, it's wasting time. So we said, could you please stop burying the treasure again since we've dug it up? Can we just take it back to the outpost and get points for it? And it's like, yeah, well, you get points for reburying it and stuff because other people find it. It's like, right, but we need it. It's like, yeah, but I want to do this. It's like, well, I think you get points for burying it. It's like, can we just dig it up and take it, please? Because the last time he buried it, he wondered why he got an achievement for someone else handing in his treasure. He got an achievement. He didn't seem to get any points for it. So, I don't know, but, you know, no one was really quite sure. And so when we said, look, can you please just get it so we can get on with the quest? That's when things started to get aggro, and it was just so really, really silly. You know, and just sounds from like, you didn't have to backtalk your brother. You didn't have to get aggro. You didn't have to rage quit or just quit the game. I mean, admittedly, he felt he had a legitimate reason and he didn't completely fly off the handle. I was like, just listen to people when they talk to you. It's not about you. This was a multiplayer session. We'd put some time aside to play, and you guys didn't listen. You just did what you guys wanted to do in a game that requires you to work as a team, which meant that we felt we were wasting our time. So, yeah, that's the groove. That's the groove of the today. I actually feel kind of doubly shit because as I said, I'm thinking of working on a little project. I couldn't get all the parts today, but I've ordered, even though I haven't really got the money to do so, I've ordered some, he says this is just going to put a control pad, but at least now I can use my Nintendo Switch. I have ordered some cases for Raspberry Pi Zero 2s. They are the updated Raspberry Pi Zeros. The Raspberry Pi Zero is a very, very, very small, like, stick of gum sized single board computer, and it runs on ARM. It's got a single core 1 point something gigahertz, but no, was the Pi 1 even 1 gigahertz? It would overclock to 1 gig, I think. It was only 700 megahertz or something like that. It was slow. The original Pi was slow. I don't remember the original spec, but it was a jank as balls chip to put on the Pi. But the Pi Zero was only like $5, and you had the Zero W for like 10, and now they've got the Zero 2 for 15. And the Zero 2 has got the Raspberry Pi 3 chip in it, so it's a quad core, significantly more powerful. The Raspberry Pi 3 is what I used to run in my arcade cabinet. Now, you can run a lot of retro games on the Pi 1. It got better on the Pi 2, and it was fantastic on the Pi 3. Nothing super amazing, but like you could run all the way up to PlayStation 1 on it, and a lot of arcade boards on it, again, which is why Pi 3 was in my arcade cabinet. But if the Pi Zero, the really rinky-dink tiny Pi Zero, has got the same chip on it now, the same processor and GPU on it, meaning it's got the same capabilities, slightly different I/O, input-output, because it's using micro USB for power and data, and mini HDMI for video out, and there's no Ethernet on it, but it has got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You could effectively make an incredibly tiny, pocketable micro console, and so that's kind of my groove. I can't get the Pi Zero 2s because they're out of stock everywhere until May because of supply shortages, likely due to some random events going on in the world that's making it hard to fab chips. But I was going to build the boys, or I planned to build the boys, a little micro console each. They had one back in the Pi 1 days, and they've got emulation rigs on their PCs, but I figured it would have been nice to just make them, since the arcade cabinet died, another little pocket console. Literally a pocket console where they can just take a little micro USB power supply, and a mini HDMI cable and a little Bluetooth control pad like the 8BitDo one that I've got, and hook it up to a TV at like Nanny's house or Grandma's house, and it'll cost like, what, 25 quid, 30 quid, and they can play like thousands of games, and it doesn't realistically matter if any one part breaks, because the board breaks, it's 15 quid, the memory card fails, it's like a tenner, all the parts in general, they're cheap. but I could just throw it together for them. So I ordered the cases. I just ordered some little cases from the Pi Hut, which are going to be pretty fucking cool. I already made a little micro console out of the original Zero for one of our friends, boys, a while back. But the new Zero 2 will be phenomenal for console emulation for my two spuds. And as I said, I've already got ROM and emulator collection. So that was my plan. But then when everything went shithouse, I was like, oh mate, kind of soured that project for a bit. So I'll be getting some more bits for that tomorrow, hopefully over the coming weeks, and I'll kind of show that off as I set that up. But yeah, just if you go a little overboard, if you feel you went a bit overboard, apologise. And always, always, always explain why things turned out the way they did to your children, because they don't always understand. You might think they do. It's terrible to insult a child's intelligence, but by the same token, they haven't had as much life experience as you have, so they don't necessarily always understand where they've gone wrong. So just, yeah. I'm going to head off. Hope you guys are well. I can't be fucked to go and cut in B-roll. I was thinking, do you know what? I should probably get some shots like the Zero and the cases I've ordered. I'll fucking show them off when the time comes. No one gives a shit. Well, yeah, I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. Fucking kids always causing stress.